Hey, it's Teapot. So I've got this little area ready for us to go mining, but I want to talk a few things first. First, we'll go ahead and take a look at my inventory. I've got some of my old tools that I have left here, but I've made two pickaxes here. I've got two brand new shovels. I've got almost a stack of sticks. I've got some barrels. I've got some crafting tables. I've got some extra wood. Basically got a whole bunch of other stuff here. If you recall, in our last episode, we finished our wood monuments. Let's go ahead and take a look at that real quick in all of its glory. But I also want to come up here because I want to talk about what our objective is going to be up here for stage 2. So you can see stage 1, we finished all 10 of the wood types. You also see I've made some item frames up here. I've got some of my very first tools. So this is my first axe, my first shovel, my first hoe, and my first pickaxe. The rest of my firsts over here, which is going to be my first sword along with my set of armor, you may remember I've lost that under the ice in unloaded chunks. I'm hoping to get that back at some point in the future when I'm a little bit better armed. So, um, what we're looking at for the upcoming types, because I could not get any stone items until I got all the wood. And similarly, I'm not going to be able to get any of the metal items until I get all of the stone types. So let's take a look at what we've got here. We've got cobblestone, just regular stone, and red brick. And when I have these listed here, this includes all the variants. So if I have any polished, or if I have any smooth, or the stairs or the walls, those are included in here. I've got andesite, diorite, and granite. Those were kind of the next ones that came through. These were the OG. These were like in beta and all the in dev, and these were the first new ones that came up. You got deep slate and tough, which came with the deep dark. You got red sandstone and regular sandstone. And then over here, there's one on here that I'm not going to be considering. I'm not going to be considering amethyst just because amethyst really is kind of a precious gem, and I want to put that in the same category that I'm going to put with the other minables that we're going to have. So I'm not going to be picking up copper, I'm not going to be picking up iron, I'm not going to be picking up redstone or lapis or diamonds. Basically, I'm limited to stone tools and only getting stone until I've got all of these stone types. So let's go ahead and edit this sign, and let's get rid of amethyst. But calcite and dripstone, those are also allowed here. So we're looking at 12 different types of stone we're going to have to get. I've just set up a little mining rig down here, right off of the main walk. And we're getting ready to get our first stone of the series. It's going to be right here. Also, I ended up having to switch back to my newer set of armor. My older armor was actually falling apart. I've actually lost my helmet. Everything else is like at 2 durability. But we're going to go ahead and ceremoniously, here is going to be our first piece of wood, our first piece of stone, cobblestone, and boom, we are now in the Stone Age. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the barrel. This is a keepsake that I want to keep safe. Don't need to have that entire stack of wood. But what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and dig down here and see what we get. Now, when I dig, I'm actually going to kind of dig in this diamond pattern here. And this is going to allow me to kind of go down stair step. And it's really going to allow me to see a lot of what's going. And, you know, we're going to keep on going down to bedrock if we can. But the idea here is, of course, that we're gathering this cobblestone. And as soon as I have enough, we're going to go ahead and get rid of these wooden tools and move our way to stone tools. So I think that should be enough for now. Let's go ahead and go up to this workbench that we've got. We're going to go ahead and create our first stone axe. That's going to replace this axe. We're going to create our first stone pickaxe. That's going to replace that pickaxe. And now we are getting an upgrade. I'm going to go ahead and get my first stone shovel. That's going to replace all of these shovels. And I'm going to get a stone sword. I'm going to leave the stone hoe to get later, but I am going to have to get all of the other stone utensils. But this at least gets us started. And now we have cobblestone to collect. I've also kind of slightly regrouped my torches here. What we need to do is we're going to need to get some coal pretty soon. But otherwise, we're just going to keep digging into the wall. Hope you're enjoying the series so far. I think it's a different way of playing Minecraft because so many of the time when you watch someone who's just starting a Let's Play series like this, they'll make wooden tools and stone tools and iron tools in episode 1 and then never have to do it again. But there is kind of a challenge having to live this rustic lifestyle, and I kind of enjoy it. So I'm glad you're along for the watch. And we're going to keep digging down until we find. And here we have our first coal vein. So this is our first actual coal, not just charcoal like we have had before. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put a block here just because it's nighttime out there and I don't want to have something sneak up on me down here. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going with my path. I'll worry about getting all the rest of these incidentals a little later. All right, so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and put my crafting table in here. I'm going to put a barrel here. And I'm going to honor my first pick, which is down to its last few uses. We'll go ahead and put that down. All right, so we've been gathering cobblestone. We need to go ahead and make a few more picks. So I'm going to go ahead and make 3 more picks. I'm also going to make some torches, because I do not want to run out of those. And we're going to continue our journey down. What's nice is that I kind of have that barrel there as the ceremonial first step. And now you can see we've reached our first gravel. This is going to allow us to get our concretes. And I am going to have to probably restack these walls with cobblestone. So we're going to start the rebuilding process. I'm going to get rid of that and put a cobblestone there so it's a little bit secure here and here. And then we're going to go ahead and put a torch up and keep working our way down. Alright, so that is actually the first piece of copper that we've seen, but we cannot get copper. We're not going to allow ourselves to get copper, and that's going to cause a problem because basically it's in the way of our step stairs down. So we're going to have to do a slight turn here. So I'm going to go ahead and put a torch there. And we'll need to keep track of where that copper is, because later on we'll be able to mine it. And we've opened up to a cave. So I'll go ahead and put a torch up here. I'm going to go ahead and put a block up here so that nothing really comes up behind us. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at what we see down here. And I see down here we see lots of darkness, but we also see our first andesite. So it looks like it could be fun. Also a little sketchy. Let's go ahead and claim our first andesite of this run. course, we do have some more copper here. All right, so nothing's going to be able to come up at us here. It's at least a too high gap. Looks like there's some water underneath. Yeah, looks like some water underneath. So we're going to go ahead and come up here and start working our way up back this way. So let's see what we've got. Of course, we do have stuff on our bar, just in case. Lighting a nice path ahead. Cave is starting to open up. I hear zombie footsteps, so let's go ahead and get to a more defensible position, maybe. Got some coal off here to the side. That looks like a sketchy way. That's not what we want. Go ahead and take care of this zombie with the sword. Swords would be nice. Before we die. There we go. Oh, goodness. Light this up and take care of the hunger. So now that this way is clear, we can kind of look into this way. And this, I'm a little bit worried about something falling on top of me. Good old double torch technique. This is a very large open room, but I also see granite and diorite. I'm curious, how deep are we? We're only at level 59. We are not deep at all. And that was the thing, we kind of started on top of a hill. This is going to be our first granite. I'm going to go ahead and fill in this hole. I'm going to definitely want a safer area to kind of move around in. And so the question is, do we take care of down or do we take care of over? And I'm going to lean towards that. So that should be relatively safe. I'm going to go ahead and light a torch there just in case. What happened over here? I had a double torch somewhere. Oh, that's right. We were worried about that area up there. So I am going to have to worry about stuff coming behind me. Let's go ahead and see what happens as we continue down. I see some moss here. Can I get the moss? No, it just breaks. There's that water that I was looking at earlier. And that lights everything up to this point. So all of this now is well lit. And I've got all of this andesite here, so, or diorite, I mean, so we can get our first diorite of this mission. So this, I think, has been pretty much a success. We've been able to get some basic stone types here. And I think that's going to make this caving trip, for our first caving trip, I think we are pretty much done. So I'm going to go ahead and just get a little bit more of each of our special stone types. And of course, one of the wonderful things here is that diorite, when you break it, you just put it back, it's just regular diorite. All right, so this is a little dark for me because I started playing when light levels of 7 would spawn mobs. I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit more coal because I have a feeling that we're going to want to bake some of this cobblestone up to smooth stone. I'm going to go ahead and throw a torch in here and there. I think what we're going to do is start working our way back. But we can also investigate that upper area, the area that was a little sketchy. And it is difficult for me to leave all this iron behind, all this copper behind, especially since we haven't gotten any, but it's because we haven't gotten any. We don't deserve it yet. Remember that we are not going to get any metals until we've got all the stone types. And this episode is just starting that saga. Right. So the other thing I've got is this area up here. There goes my second pick. So when this pick is gone, I think that's going to be the end of this. And it's almost like this is the bottom of a ravine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of make a stair step going up. And hopefully nothing evil falls on me. I'll throw a torch up there, just make sure nothing's going to spawn up there anytime soon. Now the thing is, as we've kind of explored our area, we've noticed quite a few caves running through. I'm pretty sure underneath our house just looks like Swiss cheese. And so it is entirely possible that we would come up one of those holes if we weren't cautious. And I hear a zombie. Not seeing one. Oh, there you are. You're gonna come visit? There we go. All right, so now can we light this area up? This does appear to loop around. So this is where we came in. This looks like our stair step down. And this is where we had seen all those shadows. So I'm going to go ahead and stick one torch up here. And I think we're going to call it, ouch, a day. So let's go ahead and clean up some coal. Eat some steak. So that was the dead end. And this is where we came in. So we had explored this little crevice. It said we weren't going to go down there. We did instead just come back up this way. That's the copper that was blocking our way down. What we probably need to do eventually is make this one more tall, just so we don't bump our head the entire time. And actually, if we make it too tall, we'll be able to stick some stairs up here and really travel faster. But as we get back to our home, we'll take inventory of all the ill-gotten goods that we have. And at some point in the future, we'll also take care of the extra coal that we've got here. It is sunlight outside. And we've had our first successful journey in the caves. All right, so real quick inventory of what we got. Let's take a couple of barrels here. So we had cobblestone. We had andesite. We had diorite. And we had granite. And then we also picked up some dirt and some gravel along the way. All in all, pretty good haul for our first time down in a cave. Thank y'all for watching. Have a great day.